to India Business Report. I'm Karishma Vaswani in Mumbai. This week, millions of Pakistanis head to the polls to decide on the next ruling party in charge of their country's political future. Pakistan's economy has been beset by troubles because of these political uncertainties. But there is one area that has lots of potential for business, and it's bringing Pakistan and India closer together. The two nations are the world's largest producers of basmati rice, and they're joining forces to ensure that nobody else can sell that particular brand of rice from any other country. Shilpa Kannan reports from Amritsar.
Grown in the foothills of the Himalayas, this aromatic rice was once known as the food of the emperors. Basmati is the rice grown exclusively in the upper areas of the Gangetic Plains on both sides of the India-Pakistan border. Now, to protect the farmers of this region, the two countries have decided to apply for a joint registration of the rice. Lakhvir Singh's forefathers used to cultivate basmati well before the partition of the two countries.
The soil across this region is very fertile and the water comes from the melting snow in the mountains. Farmers across Punjab have developed this rice over generations. It belongs to us. How can anyone else grow our rice?
Farmers like Lakhvir Singh sell their produce to factories that then clean it, polish it and export it. Packaging the long-grained rice for tables across the world, Tilda Riceland holds 40% share of India's export to the EU. Basmati is fast becoming the dominant rice product in Europe and the Middle East, accounting for more than half the rice consumed there. R.S. Seshadri says a geographical indicator status would definitely be beneficial.
Pakistan will benefit more because Indian industry and Indian policymakers are far ahead on the curve. And to that extent, Pakistan is slightly behind. Any platform which brings about a congruence between India and Pakistan for basmati will to that extent help Pakistan more. And India welcomes it.
Even before the application for the joint registration has gone through, India and Pakistan are fiercely debating the definition of what constitutes basmati rice. These differences need to be sorted out if both countries want to benefit from regional trade. Indian scientists are mapping the DNA of the basmati rice. Protecting the rice together would mean closer ties between the neighbors on other issues as well. And many in India hope that this would lead to a robust regional trade center.
We already have an agreement with Sri Lanka, excellent business relationship with Bangladesh, an open border almost with Nepal. So what we are left to do is to achieve India-Pakistan and we'll be an EU in very short time, and our EU growing at 9 to 10%, if not more.
This valuable crop forms not just the farmers but also the traders across the border. And as basmati prices have more than doubled in the last 2 years, it may soon bring the sparring neighbors to the peace table.
Shilpa Kannan reporting there from Amritsar. Well, away from the economy and back to corporate news. The Tata Group's name is a household brand here in India and increasingly around the world. Last year, the company bought British steelmaker Corus, and this year it's got its eyes set on Land Rover and Jaguar. The group's also spending around $2 billion to grow its telecoms business overseas. Our New York business correspondent Caroline Hepka sat down with Vinod Kumar at the Tata Telecommunications Group and asked him why Tata had decided to launch its cable expansion in the US.
In many ways it's a global launch, but we are placing particular emphasis on launching it in the US, largely because some of our biggest customers operate here, some of our biggest opportunities also are present in this market. The connectivity needs between India and the US outweigh any other route that you can think of, and that's going to change over a period of time, but at this point it's very prominent and hence being recognized in this market as we make this name change to Tata Communications is critical.
That's because nearly 2/3 of India's booming IT services are linked to the US, the other third to Europe and the UK. But broadband connectivity lags both those continents and even falls short of capacity in China. Vinod Kumar says Tata Communications, though, will change that.
What will happen in India over the next 12 to 18 months is using technologies like WiMAX, which is a wireless technology, broadband penetration is going to significantly increase. And today we are going through one of the largest deployments of WiMAX technology in the world, rolling out 3,200 base stations around the country that will serve both consumers as well as business customers. So we really believe that that the big gap between India and the rest of the world will start getting bridged in the coming years.
We did, of course, see, though, that frenzy towards global cabling back in the 1990s. A couple of firms actually went out of business because of that boom and bust. How are things different now, do you think?
The cables then were built, one by pure play wholesale carriers. They had no organic traffic of their own. They were purely going to be in the business of building a big fat pipe and then selling it off in smaller chunks to other players and serving as an intermediary. We believe that that business model is flawed. It was flawed then, it will continue to be flawed if we try to do it today. So when we build cables, we really look at what organic traffic do we have from our business customers or consumers that can fill those pipes. And then obviously you use that pipe to also offer services to other carriers.
The Tata Group's Vinod Kumar there, speaking with Caroline Hepker in New York. And finally, India is one of the world's fastest growing car markets, which is why so many international auto giants are headed this way to find out if they can source local car designs for the global market. Very soon you might find yourself driving a car that's been completely designed in India, somewhere in the US or in the United Kingdom. So is the auto design market here really taking off? Supriya Menon finds out from Mumbai.
This is certainly not the next Bond car, but you could be forgiven for thinking so. It's simply an ordinary car made to look extraordinary. And the man behind this transformation is Dilip Chhabria, or DC, one of India's leading auto designers. For DC, these are good times as India sketches itself as a serious player onto the world auto map. It's also the reason why he's opening his own automobile design school next year.
We believe all brands will have to have India-centric design centers, not just for India, but to be able to service them so that they are able to reduce their costs. With all these thrown together, I think there's a huge demand growth for these professionals. So it's the right time. In fact, maybe we are a year late, but it's the right time to groom these professionals.
So what we can do is
It's this kind of optimism that's pushing even professors to think about making inroads into the booming auto sector. At the Indian Institute of Technology, a brand new concept car is being discussed. Named Eon, the car, which runs on electricity, doesn't have a steering wheel. Initially meant for indoor use, the makers of Eon are working on launching the car onto the city's roads soon. And this is still very much in the experimental stages, and you can see a lot of work needs to be done before it can hit the roads. But everyone from auto giants to engineering students seem to have figured out that the next big story in the auto sector is going to come from the small car market. So far, India has had only limited exposure to designing, and Indian designs in the automotive sector haven't been noticed. But now, after the country launched the world's cheapest car, the Nano, the spotlight is on India. Many design students can now see a future designing cheap and compact cars for India and the rest of the world. A reason why perhaps there is a growth in the number of students opting for such courses.
We launched the Nano, so now that's like it's the Indian design, right? So now people can, when they look at a Nano, they'll be like, oh, that's the Indian car. So it has created a great brand identity for India. So that's a good plus point, and Tata has achieved that. So now we have to think of making cars similar to Nano, obviously with greater technology, because technology is always improving.
With this kind of talent and training, experts feel that it won't be long before India carves out a future for itself in automotive design, and the next big thing may just be the Designed in India label.
Supriya Menon reporting there from Mumbai. Well, that's all the time that we have for you this week. Join us again next week when we'll be bringing you a very special India business report. From Delhi, the Indian government's about to release its financial budget for this year, and we'll be looking at what that means for India and for foreign investors who have their eye on this market. So if you have any questions or comments about what you think the Indian government's priorities should be in this year's budget, do email us at asiabiz@bbc.co.uk. Till next week then, from everyone here at the India Business Report team, thanks for watching this program. I'm Karishma Vaswani in Mumbai. See you next week.